A deadly storm at sea, a cargo ship left adrift, and a passing marine salvage vessel. Welcome everyone. This week we're going back to 1959 for a crime mystery sea adventure called The Wreck of the Mary Deare, starring Gary Cooper and Charlton Heston. And this is directed by Michael Anderson. Our story begins this week at sea. Yes, a heavy storm has entered the English Channel. A marine salvage team aboard the Sea Witch, headed by John Sands, played by Charlton Heston, discovers a phantom cargo ship adrift headed for their vessel. A near collision, shining a light on the ship, the crew discovers it is the steamship Mary Deare out of Hong Kong. With only one lifeboat left and discovering smoke, Sands wants to lie alongside as he thinks it's a derelict and can collect salvage rights. Under the discontent of his partner Mike, Sands dangerously fights the storm and boards the ship, hoping to claim it and its cargo for themselves. Once aboard, Sands investigates the ship, heading to the captain's quarters, discovers the cargo manifest and a photo with letters addressed to Captain James Taggart. Next, Sands runs head-on into former First Officer Gideon Patch, played by Gary Cooper, alone but still in command. He has been captain for 4 days since the death of its original skipper, Captain Taggart. Patch describes 2 fires, a dynamiting, and having been hit on the head and left unconscious when the crew abandoned the ship. After Patch refuses to let the ship be claimed for salvage, Sands tries to get back to his tug, but cannot because of the storm. Patch saves his life by pulling him back onto the Mary Deare. Sands reluctantly joins him in running the ship, stoking the boilers in the flooded engine room to get up steam. In order to ensure the ship will stay above water until an official inspection by a board of inquiry in England, Patch insists on grounding her in shallow water in the dangerous region of the Min Keys. When the two reach land, Sands learns that the survivors, led by Second Officer Higgins, are claiming that Patch gave an unnecessary order to abandon ship. Obtaining more information from Captain Taggart's daughter, Janet, Patch and Sands are under pressure from the ship's owner and insurance company, and an intense inquiry begins. So, did the Mary Deare have valuable American jet engines on board? Were Higgins and his allies in a conspiracy to offload valuable cargo to another ship in Rangoon? Or does Patch and Sands risk their lives to discover the truth? Released November 6, 1959, directors John Sturges and Sir Alfred Hitchcock were originally approached to direct. However, British director Michael Anderson took over. In fact, The Wreck of the Mary Deare received a 1960 nominee for Best Film by international competition for director Michael Anderson. And user reviews make such claims as 2 icons are quite a pleasant surprise, high seas, high jinks, and courtroom melodrama in one, and fast-paced, well-acted, and underappreciated. I think so too. And I did a couple of great films actually on my channel, a Gary Cooper one from 1956, Friendly Persuasion, and a Charlton Heston one from 1955, The Private War of Major Benson. Please click the links below. And our trivia question this week: did the director of our film use many real ships for filming? Did the director of our film use many real ships for filming? So a little more history and the answer to our trivia question coming up next. The Wreck of the Mary Deare film is based on the 1956 fictional novel of the same name, written by British author Hammond Innes, inspired by actual shipwreck stories. Yes, so I have a shipwreck story for you this week, one with a lone survivor from the freighter SS Western Reserve. I think you'll find this one interesting. Yes, the SS Western Reserve was the first steel plate lake freighter on the Great Lakes. She was constructed in 1890 by the Cleveland Shipbuilding Company for and invented by Peter G. Minch, a ship's captain, designer, and operator who was pioneering the industrialization of bulk carrier freight service on the Great Lakes. She had a length of 301 feet or 92 meters, a beam of 41 feet or 12 meters, and drew 21 feet or 6.4 meters of water, making her at the time the largest bulk carrier on the lakes. The Western Reserve was called the Inland Greyhound because she was so fast from port to port. On August 30th, 1892, in Lake Superior, Western Reserve was loaded with ballast and traveling upbound to two harbors, a port serving the Minnesota Iron Ranges, for a load of iron ore. At 9 p.m., she ran into a storm about 60 miles or 97 kilometers above Whitefish Point. With a loud crash, the ship broke in two and sank within 10 minutes. All 21 crew and 6 passengers were able to get off in lifeboats. 17 people, including Captain Minch and his family, got into a wooden lifeboat, while the remaining 10 people got into a metal lifeboat, which then capsized. The wooden boat was only able to pick up 2 survivors from the metal lifeboat. The wooden lifeboat remained afloat until about 7 a.m., when it also capsized about 1 mile or 1.6 kilometers from shore. All were drowned except for wheelsman Harry Stewart, who with considerable effort swam to shore. He lay on the beach between Grand Marais and Deer Park almost unconscious for an hour before he crawled 10 miles or 16 kilometers to a life-saving station. He attributed his survival to a heavy knit close-fitting wool jacket or pea jacket, which he said alone saved him. Contributing to the breakup of the ship was maritime steel, which was not designed to gracefully handle the twisting and stretching forces of waves. Yes, the Titanic used the same type of brittle steel. The ship's location remained unknown for 132 years, but in the summer of 2024, after 2 years' effort, the Great Lakes Shipwreck Historical Society research vessel located the hulk laying at 600 feet or 180 meters deep off the coast of Whitefish Point. And Harry Stewart, while our lone survivor, continued at sea, rising to the rank of captain, passed away May 18, 1939 at age 70. Amazing. And the answer to our trivia question this week: did the director of our film use many real ships for filming? No. Our film is a favorite among many who enjoy a model ship movie. The wreck of the Mary Deare includes many marvelous miniature ship shots, filmed in what was then a 300 square foot tank on MGM Studios' back lot. Visual effects supervisor A. Arnold Gillespie worked his wizardry with the merchant ship, a model of 1/16 scale and 35 feet in length, and a smaller tugboat miniature. The models were finely detailed to display a rich weathering effect received from the miniature storm. The rocks were made of fiberglass. Battery-powered pumps were used inside each shell, accessible in the back. These were arranged to mix air and water and pump it out through nozzles just under the surface, producing a crashing wave effect upon the rocks. Amazing. It does look realistic in this movie. I'd like to give a big thank you to my viewers and subscribers. If you haven't clicked like and subscribe, please do so, and join me next week.